And we are recording. It is the 6th of January.
Mm-hmm. Yep, January 6th.
And,
It says that fucking phone, Jesus Christ.
yeah, no, it's not even a phone, right?
Yeah. Phablet.
Phablet.
The phablet.
The name of the dish is porchetta.
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 Porchetta. CH is a K, kind of like bruschetta and Chianti.
Right. What region of Italy?
Lazio.
Okay. So tell us where in the boot that is.
Rome.
Okay, so middle of the country.
Yeah, that area. It's like one of the. I think they have like two national dishes of the region, and porchetta is one, and the other one is Parmigiano or pecorino romano.
Right. Okay. So
Which you know.
the main components of the dish are you get just the tenderloin, or
So I went to Drew's,
okay.
our pig purveyors that we are big fans of, and I said I would like to do a porchetta, and they said it's like a lot of people are asking for these things now, and I was like, really? He said, yeah, it's I did 5 for Thanksgiving and 3 for Christmas or something like that, or 3 for Thanksgiving and 5 for Christmas.
I went on there Christmas Eve, and it was everybody was picking up their their rib roasts and whatnot. I managed to see one that was actually out.
Yeah.
And grabbed it at the last minute. But still, compared to this, that was a $75 piece of meat that I picked up. It was a 1 rib, probably about a 5-pound roast.
This is like 8 pounds, 7 8 pounds, and it was $50 to $60 because I bought that and a chicken there for it was like $75.
And probably the front loading of the cost is the loin, so the belly is going to be a lot cheaper.
Well, he actually he just so I said I was going to do a porchetta, and he said no problem, and he took out the belly. That's step 1. That came in about 3 pounds, and he threw the loin in it, measured it out, cut it, threw them both on the scale, and billed me for both. So, and I think the cost on the belly and the loin is so close. He's like, here you go. And I think it was like $50 to $60 in that range. And it's 7 pounds to 8 pounds of meat, pretty fatty meat, but
Right. Yeah, I noticed that a lot did render out in the cooking process. So he's got it combined together. He cut it together. You're taking it home. And you undo it so you can season in the middle.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures, but so I took the belly, I unrolled it, so it was meat side up, and I cut it in a crosshatch pattern with a sharp paring knife, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe like half an inch deep, to kind of like help it more evenly cook.
Yeah.
And I flipped it over, and I poked it a bunch of times with the tip of the paring knife. To kind of like break up the fat a little bit. Not much, just give it a nice good poke. So you guys see in the pictures, if you look, you'll see like little knife holes.
Okay, so the crosshatch side is going to be facing the inside.
The crosshatch side is the meat side, yeah.
Right.
I'll feed versus the skin side. The meat side wraps around the loin.
Okay. And what you said, you sort of dumped a bunch of packets of spices. Talk me through what the rub is.
Yeah, the 2 biggest were the ground fennel and the red pepper flakes. So ground fennel was probably about like a healthy, good 3 tablespoons, maybe a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
And same for the red pepper flakes, about the same amount. And evenly distributed. Well, first I salted it, of course.
Right.
Get the salt as close to me as possible, and then the spicing. And so it was fennel and the red pepper flakes, as I mentioned, and I threw 3 or 4 cloves of garlic in the food processor.
Okay.
A bunch of fresh sage and a bunch of fresh rosemary. So it was like 3 sprigs of rosemary, and I minced that up, and maybe a tablespoon of minced sage.
Okay, so some pretty strong aromatics in there.
Yeah.
and then oranges.
One orange I sliced thin.
Okay.
By the way, this recipe was adapted from Bon Appetit.
Okay, so this is based on where credit is
Pretty
due.
much Bon Appetit's
Right.
recipe.
Well, listen, it becomes your recipe when you make it. That's at least the
I'll
Chabaka
be honest with you.
legal coverage for
Yeah.
yeah.
I would doing it again. I would probably skip the orange. The orange was a nice touch and may have kept it a little bit moister, but it probably would add a little bit, but not that much.
Would you consider a preserved lemon?
Preserved lemon may be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, or preserving the orange too. Like, so it's a little bit more macerated. I think that's one thing is like I actually could still taste a little bit of the rind, but not much.
Is there ever a time when does the preparation ever call for like any kind of dry fruit or?
I don't know. I mean, the fennel and hot pepper flakes are really the flavors.
That's the
the
kind
big flavors you taste when you get porchetta.
That's the quintessential.
Yeah. When you're in Italy.
Would you use a fiddle pollen as well, or just?
Actually, I do have fiddle pollen. I should have broken that out. I had it. I was a vacuum packed package from when I was in Florence.
Ah, nice. Well, you do live in a city that produces a lot of wild fennel, so.
I know, but at least I can at least say it's Italian fennel versus
Right.
fucking San Francisco
Well,
versus Alameda Boulevard fennel.
I think the thing that
Would you like the 280 fennel or the 101 fennel?
Right, well,
Which varietal would you prefer?
probably John Muir would rightly say that is also Italian fennel because it's not a native plant, but
That's true.
and then you truss it back up.
So the other thing too is that's the first time I ever trussed meat like that.
Okay.
And
Did you do a kind of a loop and then?
Yeah, the you cross over your hand, you run it over the top,
Right.
You run the line through,
I'll
you
go-
cross over your hand again.
I'll go find a video of Jacques Pepin doing it. And
That's exactly what I did. I watched it, and it's funny. My friend Jess, who you know from like our little Facebook group,
right.
who's a chef over at or used to be a chef over at Larder, and now is a chef at Montalo. She was like, "Oh, go look at the Jacques Pepin videos."
Anything that anything that seems kind of daunting, and then he'll do like a slow version of it, and then he'll do it like Jacques Pepin speed, and you're like, what just happened? Did that onion just cut itself? Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but that video actually really helped.
okay. So trust it. You do a rub on the outside as well. No, it's just
Nothing else.
salt on the outside, or
Just a little bit of salt on the outside.
Okay.
Actually, so next thing I did was I put it on a rack and threw it in my fridge for 2 days.
all right. So it's a 2-day.
Drying, resting,
process, yeah.
absorption. And over time, I patted it down. But to be honest with you, the belly was already kind of drying in the fridge at the
Right.
Did
Did it seep out a lot of fluid?
A little bit of fluid seeped
Okay.
out. Like you can see in the bottom of the pan that
Right.
I had it in.
That probably came mostly from the loin. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and then in the oven.
Okay, so when I got ready, I did salt the outside
Okay.
before throwing it
So
in.
an additional salting.
Yep, I preheated the oven to 500. And it was 500 for 40 minutes, turning once. And then lowered it to 300. And that ran from, it was about an hour 10, an hour 15. I mean, based upon instant read thermometer in the center of the meat. And I cooked it to 145. And took it out and tented it. Rested it for 30 minutes.
So just total time, just shy of 2 hours.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just about 2 hours.
Well, the results couldn't be better. I tell you, you got to try this at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing changes I'll make for the future, whole fennel seed. I may throw some of those in there.
Oh yeah,
Instead of just the straight up ground fennel seeds, I may do a mix of whole and ground, or grind it fresh. I don't have a spice grinder on hand, so that's the reason why I skipped it.
well, you get like a.
I have a mortar and pestle, but-
Mortar and pestle. It's worth the elbow grease.
If I had to do this as an alternative to like a Christmas turkey, I'd do it on a harpy because it's so much less work.
Right. So let's work, and it sounds like it's definitely a lot cheaper than, like I said. I left Drew's with the one bone rib roast for $75, and sounds like you left Drew's for
7 pounds of pork and a whole chicken for the same price.
$60, yeah.
Yeah.
So pork, it is definitely the other white meat, and
Gateway meat.
it's a gateway meat. Bacon is definitely the unveganator.
And yeah, it's. Oh, and the other thing I'll do in the future, I did see a recipe online somewhere. They talked about getting the entire belly with some of the rib meat on it, and skipping the loin and doing an only belly porchetta. And
Just kind of roll it up.
yeah, and I think that's what Porcellino did. So Porcellino is our, Chris Constantino's restaurant.
Oh, the new one.
No, the old one. He
Okay.
closed it. He's got Coxcomb now,
Okay,
but Porcellino is what he transferred Encanto into.
but that's already closed.
It's gone, and they
Yeah.
had the best porchetta I think I've ever had in my entire fucking life.
Well, I got my aunt from Lexington, Kentucky, to try a spring lamb kidney. So that's my Constantino claim to fame, which is very hesitant about the whole thing. But yeah, so I think that's enough recording for now. I got the gist of it, and we'll have fun editing it later.
Sweet.
Take a picture of the clan.
Oh yeah.
This is